All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO gym, and the QBO gym is really just a set of exercises that help simulate real life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. And so every single month we have them broken down into 4 different categories, and then within each category is a set of exercises for you to complete. So today we are going to do the June strength training section. And at the top here is a video that tells you a little bit more about what's going on in Craig's world, who is our fictitious business owner for that month. Scroll down and you see a quiz that relates to the video that you saw above, and then all of the exercises in that section. So today we are going to practice purchasing inventory. Just a note here that you need to use the same session of the sample company that you used in the previous exercise, which was importing products and services. So if you haven't done that exercise, you need to pause here, go back, do that one first, and then come back and finish this, start this exercise. So our scenario here is that Craig's products and services list has been uploaded. So now we're ready to move or record his inventory purchases for the month. He purchased 2 different items from Mahoney on credit and received a bill from them due in 30 days. He also wrote a check to Hicks Hardware, and that check covered some retail inventory and some supplies for the landscaping side of his business. So first we're going to work on the bill, and then we will work on the check. So you need to download the bill from Mahoney first. And to do that, you go back to the QBO gym. At the top of the strength training section for June, underneath the video, you will see a button that says Mahoney bill. Go ahead and click that, and this is the invoice that you should see populate or appear, excuse me. Once again, you need to do all of the exercises in this section in the same sample company session. They all build on each other. So start with the very first one. And if you haven't done that one yet, do that, come back here. All right, so moving on to the bill. Bills are used when a vendor tells us that we need to remit payment for something. Later on, when Craig pays this bill, we're going to record the payment against it instead of recording a new expense. And that's because the bill is something that you pay later versus an expense, which is where you change money hand over hand, money changes hands. There we go. Immediately. So because this is a bill, we're going to record the payment against it later. But for right now, let's do the bill. Because Mahoney Mugs is just as excited for Craig to be buying inventory as he is, excuse me. They've offered him terms of net 30, which just means that he has 30 days to pay for the items that they are sending him now. So let's get this recorded. Step 1, you're going to do the plus new button and select bill. Okay, this is the sample company. We always work in it. And if you're not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, make sure you click on the link below in the description. But again, you need to be doing the first exercise before you come to this one. So this is the page that we ended up on in the last exercise. So once again, the first step is to do the plus new and select bill. So plus new button, and under vendors, we're going to select bill. All right. And then we are going to fill out that form. So to start with the vendor field, we're going to select Mahoney Mugs. So you can start typing in here, Mahoney Mugs. Great. And then for the terms, we're going to select net 30. Keep in mind that there are some default selections that QBO provides, and then you can always customize it as well based on what the vendor's terms are. So for this one, we're going to select under terms net 30. You'll see the bill date as the date, today, which is when I recorded this video. It automatically defaults to that. But in a real life scenario, you would want to enter the date of the bill from Mahoney. QBO will calculate it and fill in the due date based on the terms you previously selected. So even though I have this here as the first, you have to the bill is based off of the inventory when it has been entered in. And since we just did that today, we are not going to change the date. We are just going to leave it as is. So in the bill number field, we're going to enter the invoice number, which is found on the bill. You will see invoice number here, 314159. We are going to enter that in the bill number field. And as just an aside, the bill number field is not always a field that you will see on vendor bills. Remember that from the vendor's perspective, they've sent an invoice. So when your client receives that invoice, you will record it in their books as a bill. But on documents like this, the point isn't to find a perfectly labeled number or bill number for that field. You're going to use whatever number the vendor has provided that identifies this very specific document in case you ever need to refer to it down the road. So sometimes this can be the invoice number, sometimes control number, document number, or something totally different. But the purpose of the bill number field is way more important than the actual label itself. But on Mahoney's bill, they happen to have it as invoice number. So that's what we are going to use. And I'm sorry, that number is 314159. So 314159 is the bill number. Okay, and then we are going to move on to the items details grid because remember, this is tracked inventory products. So under product and service, we are going to select bird bath rubber duck and then the quantity of 250. And we got that from the bill directly here. So bird bath rubber duck, 250. Not category details, but items. I'm going to start typing in bird bath rubber duck. There it is. And the quantity was 250. I'm going to tab over. It has that the rate is $2, which is exactly correct. That's what the unit price is. And then the total is 500. And the reason that it got populated that way is because when we downloaded the product and services list or uploaded it from the previous exercise, that is what the rate was on, the Craig's rate for that, for the ducks, and the total, it was on that document, sorry. And then the total cost is just automatically populated from QBO when you tab over from the 250. So 250 times 2, 500. And then we have one more thing to add from the bill. It's the lawnmower plushie and the quantity is 12. So here you see lawnmower plushie 12 and our unit cost is 18. So I'm just going to type in plushie and we got our lawnmower plushie. There was a total of 12 of those. So 12, here's the rate, the $18. If I tab over, you will see that QBO automatically populates that for me. All right, and then next to the Save and Schedule Payment button, we're going to click on that arrow and click Save and Close. We're not scheduling the payment right now, so click on this arrow, and then you will click Save and Close, and the bill has been saved. All right, so now let's move on to the check portion. Craig used a check to purchase both landscaping supplies and retail inventory from Hicks Hardware. Because his job supplies and his retail inventory are tracked differently in the books, we need to record them differently when we create the check entry. And the reason that each of these items is entered differently is because the way each is tracked and used in Craig's business. He knows that he's planned to use all the landscaping supplies he's bought from Hicks as he completes upcoming jobs for his customers. And because he'll be selling keychains retail, he's tracking inventory quantities using the products and services list so that he always knows what's available for sale and when he needs to buy more. So in a real life scenario, Craig might provide you with a receipt or a check image for his purchase. There is no download for this section, so I'm just going to walk you through the details. So step 1, to create the check here, you do the plus new and select check. So plus new, and under vendors, you're going to select check. Okay, and then we're going to complete the form. So for the payee, we're going to select Hicks Hardware, and then the bank account, we're going to select checking because it's a check. So Hicks Hardware, and it's in the checking, so we're going to leave that as is. In a real life scenario, you would enter the date the check is being written, but for the purposes of the exercise, we're just going to leave it as of today. And then also in a real life scenario, you write the check number, that the number of the check that is being written. But for the purposes, we're just going to leave it as 71 because that's what it's defaulting right now. It's saying that it's check number 71 that we're about to write. Okay, and then here we go. For the landscaping purchases, we're going to use the category details. That's because Craig did not purchase specific products and services items. Okay, so in order to do this, in the category grid, under category, you're going to select job, expenses, materials, plant, and soil. Make sure that you're using the expense account and not the income account that is named exactly the same. In real life, if that happens, if you have two accounts that are the same name, different kinds of accounts, you may want to relabel them just so that you don't accidentally select something in the future. Just label them in a slightly different way. And then the amount field is going to be $450. So we are going to be doing, I'm just going to do plants and soils so that I can get a smaller amount. And it's the first one here is the expense account. And then the amount, I believe, was $450. That's what I said. Yep. Oh, 457. Yep. Okay, and now for his retail purchases, you're going to be using the items grid. This is because Craig is tracking how much he has of each thing on hand. He will track them when he purchases them and then tracks them when he sells them as well. So that was the categories details. Now we're going to the items. You'll see that QBO has already pre-populated this. That is just based off of what was purchased last time at Hicks Hardware, but you can control it however you want. If you want QBO to pre-fill previous transactions, you just need to turn that on in the accounts and settings. And the way to do that is you go to the gear icon under your company, you'll see accounts and settings. And then in that, there's a section that says advanced. You click on that and then you can select whether you want QBO to pre-fill things or not. But for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to delete them completely. So you're going to click on the little trash can next to each item, which is over here. Trash, trash, trash. It's a little slow on me. Trash. Okay, there we go. Okay, and now we are going to have, in the items grid, we are going to select compressed brass clipping keychain. That is a mouthful. And then in the quantity field, you're going to enter 300. And you'll note that the rate is automatically populated from the products and services list that we imported earlier in the previous exercise, and the amount is going to be automatically calculated by QBO. So let me go into this. We are going to start typing in compressed grass clipping keychain, and we said that the quantity was 300. So 300, it's at the rate of 50 cents. If you tab over, you will see that the amount has automatically been calculated. And then we are just going to save and close this, which is the green button down here. And those are some exercises on how you would be purchasing inventory. If you have any questions about the QBO Gym, just click on the link below in the description and be sure to leave this sample company session open. You will need it for the next exercise, which is practicing sales and returns. So I will see you in the next video.